4th of July is coming up. Everyone's ramping up to get ready for it, whether that's burgers, hot dogs, brats. If you are 21 older, other drinks and beverages, just nonetheless, beverages around the house for the hot summer days. Everything is getting ready for it. And in our sports, the performance and the mental side of the game, it is no different. We're going to attack this, use it as an exercise in today's episode. If you are new here, my name is Gabe Rummel. I am founder of the Athlete's Health, creator of It's for Noah Gym, and this mental performance playbook where we break down elite mental strategies and deliver them in actionable exercises for the athlete or the coach or the parent to use and apply immediately to help out the athletic space. Now, sometimes we do more educational work. Other times we break down some exercises and how to use it. And these are mental exercises. And this one is all about the 4th of July and using that as a metaphor, as a reference for what our performance actually needs to look like. At the end of this episode or throughout it, I will have 2 examples of some summer seasonal sports that we can use for reference for this to check it out and use it. Now, before we go any farther, please share the show if you find it valuable, if you like it. And before you even share it, if you are not following or subscribing to the show, go ahead and do that. But let's get into this. Unless you're that party person who just goes to the party and doesn't bring anything or whatever and is just going to smooch off the whole thing, for the 4th of July, you need to ramp up to it. You have to get things ready. You have to plan out where you're going to park for the fireworks. We got to understand where we're going to go and everything else. You can't just go and do it. It will not be the best time for you. It won't be as much fun. It's just going to all around suck more. Now, if you've been around our TH channel before, the Mental Performance Playbook here, you know how we often have talked about our funnel reference for performance. Now we start wide, no matter what, we got to get in the performance niche. It's going to wobble, it's going to bang, go back and forth, and then it starts to come out. This ramp up, perform, ramp down period is very similar. It's just another way to look at this pre-game, in-game, and post-game. And you can widen that out. You can bring it closer together. Now, this can be with your identity. This can be with just your performance in general. This can be with how you're attacking it. There's many different ways for us to look at this, and that's what I want to make sure that we do so we have an understanding for this. Now, let me just paint the picture for you here. Evel Knievel. What's more 4th of July than that dude? Evel Knievel, the bigger the ramp, the bigger the jump, the bigger the landing. Hopefully, doesn't always land. If you don't know who Evel Knievel is, go check it out. But he ramps up, it gets ready, and then he has to attack the ramp with force, with velocity. He ramps up, and then he's flying. He's in the air, wind, birds, whatever's happening, jumping over the cars, till eventually, hopefully, a graceful landing and ramping back down. Now, I'm going to break down 2 different sports. 1, the ball field, baseball and softball, and 2, summer cross-country training. Because it can be a super long ramp and it can also be very short. So let's get into this. First off, for ramping for performance, I want us to think about this macro, wide, the whole season, that's what we'll do more so for cross country. We can also do it for baseball here right now and softball. But then also, I want us to think about more micro ramp up per game. And so that's actually what I'm going to talk about for baseball and softball. Because yes, we have been ramping up in Iowa anyways to this time of year. Sub-state brackets are being released soon. Then it's sub-state and it's winter go home. But within the sport of baseball and softball, there is an intricate warm-up. We are not just going out there and throwing the ball or going out there and hitting. We're running around, getting the blood flowing, warming up. And then The reason I love this as our example is because there's so many different band exercises to warm up the shoulders and the arms to make sure they don't get hurt when we're doing all of the throwing. That is an entire ramp up period for the game itself. And then even in the game, there's ramp up periods for the pitcher to warm up until after the game, we wind on down. The reason we use this as an example and tying it back to the 4th of July, getting ready for that big day, is because the mental side of our sport, of our game, is no different. While we're warming up, while we're doing the bands, there are mental exercises, mental pieces that we can implement to warm up to get ready. Those then we can also use in the game. I just worked on this with both a pitcher and a hitter literally in the past 2 days, which was made it so fun, which is partly why I wanted to have this. And I was talking to a Division I sports psychologist about this ramp up period, because sometimes people think about it like a flip of a switch. Well, they're just out there now and they switch the flip and they're ready to go. But it doesn't actually work like that. We need to ramp up to it. And then also, because we're at that peak identity, peak performance, we need to ramp back down. And so there are a ton of mental exercises that we can use within that, but I wanted to put the philosophy out right now so we understand that. And just some of the exercises that I talked about in past episodes are breath work, routines, right? These are all those mental exercises that we cover, but this is the framework. This is what we want to implement and how we will implement it. And it's important to know that before we even put the exercises, the mental exercises in with the physical sport. That's baseball, softball. If you've worked with us, if you've followed along for a while, you know some of those exercises that we put in there. And that's what makes it so fun. Let's go to longer scale of a whole cross country season. And I'm talking more so at the high school level. College, yes, you go from cross country to indoor track to outdoor track, back to training for cross country. There really is no stop. At least at the high school level, you're supposed to have some break. So let's look at this as a longer ramp. You see that at the high school level, cross country training really starts that whole summer. We're building up the work capacity to handle the strenuous exercises, the strenuous workouts during season so we can race at our best. Ramp up to it. Now that's a long ramp cycle. But the other thing that has that instills that mental performance training in our ramp up period doubles down in is the long duration of ramp up period. See, not only does that let us understand the exercises, but it builds our mental work capacity too. And it lets those exercises that we are using and implementing be fully ingrained in muscle memory. And we want that to happen, especially in that sport of cross country or track, but rather so just in any sport. We want the muscle memory for the mental exercises. That's what makes it so key, and why using this as a macro scale for the sport of ramp up, lets us implement it, lets us use it to a T. Now, when we then do that, as we look macro scale, that ramp allows us to fly for the whole season or in the whole season because we ramped up before it. And that is the key point for the mental exercises too. We want to implement them before season. We want that ramp up period. So then in season, we don't have to train a bunch of new things. Now, right now for baseball and softball season, with the athletes that we're working with, we are making those quick fixes in the season, those quick training sessions, those ones that, okay, like we need something fast, let's try it. Yes, that works, but we also want to make sure that we ingrain it and train it the other times too. And that's the beauty of these mental exercises and these two examples, because you ramp, jump, and then that ramp down after season might not be as long when we're looking at that macro season. Just like if we tie this all back to our 4th of July, We're prepping, $1,000 worth of fireworks, burgers, beverages, hot dogs. And then 30 minutes later, all the fireworks are done, the food's gone, and we ramp back down. Our mental performance training is no different. Mental exercises we add all along the way. We even use them when we're up in the air, flying like Evel Knievel. Please share this episode if you found it useful, and check out more of our resources down below. Get a mental training session scheduled. We love to help out the area. If you have a school, a program, send them our way, and we would love to chat as we keep building out more resources here. That's very exciting for the future. My name is Gabe Rummel. I will catch you next week on the Mental Performance Playbook. Peace.